Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Popcorn and Coffee Video Edition, YouTube Edition, Table Talk. That's what I called
Yeah,
the last one.
that's what it was.
That's what it
Yeah,
was. How are you today, my friend?
I am good. Good. Excited. I got to watch the first episode of Boba Fett.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, dropped today. Why don't we just jump right into it? Tell me, where are you in terms of Boba Fett fandom?
I think I fall under the whole lore aspect of it, like back when he was first in the show, because he was only in the original trilogy a total of like maybe 20 minutes
Yeah,
between Empire and Jedi.
yeah.
So there's like this almost mythological uh hype behind him. And so I kind of fall into that category, like, oh, I love Boba Fett, but it's almost just the mythological because he wasn't in it that much,
Yeah.
but he was just this cool character that fans created, like built up in their minds. So I'm under that category. I was excited to see him in The Mandalorian when he came in. Super, like, really excited stuff. So when they dropped the trailer for the Book of Boba Fett, I was 100% on board. I'm like, all right, let's see what they're going to do with him and flesh his character out.
Because I don't know, is this based on like a comic book of Boba Fett? Is
Uh,
that a thing?
that I'm not sure. It could be.
I suppose we probably should have done our research on that.
Yeah, I mean, I just watched it, so
I'm gonna look it up real quick. I don't see anything.
it doesn't look like it because no, it's not. Jon Favreau wrote it, and it's based off of characters by Lucas. So no, it's not.
Only upon getting to the credits of this did I realize that Jon Favreau is kind of the brainchild of this just as much as he is the Mandalorian.
Yeah,
which I think is really cool. I love his vision. He's got great vision.
yeah.
And
If they could get, if they would let Jon Favreau just take over, which I think they're kind of getting there anyways, but just letting him take completely over the Star Wars saga and everything and let him run it. I say scrap the new trilogy, and we're getting off topic, but scrap that new trilogy and let him rewrite it in his own way, using the characters he wants to use and stuff, if they're going to build off that.
well, it's interesting, like, because you say we're getting off topic, but at the same time, it's like people are tired of the same old stuff. And I think the best direction to take Star Wars is serialized on Disney Plus as opposed to, because people want to see the nitty gritty worlds of Star Wars. Everybody's over the Skywalker saga. Everybody's over these grand story arcs, especially grand story arcs that don't work and are a letdown by the third movie. But the one thing that I loved about this the most, and we're kind of jumping into it, is just that it's so low key and so low level. Like you're talking about a few characters on Tatooine and that's it. I think that's awesome. Let's break away from grand story arcs and just tell some of these stories. And I'd love to go visit what are a couple other Star Wars, do some Cloud City stuff.
Yeah.
Let's go revisit the Ewoks, see what they're up to. I don't think that's a bad idea. With the technology that we have today, you could do some really cool stuff and just keep it. As soon as you start thinking grand, you're going to get off track. But if you keep it low key, it could work.
Really, I mean, really kind of build their own. He's really working it. I mean, you got Obi-Wan Kenobi, or the Kenobi series that's coming out, I think, next year.
Yeah.
And the Osaka series that's coming out. And these are all, I'm assuming these are all mostly taking place, at least Mandalorian and stuff is taking place in the same timeline.
Yeah.
Same time period. So if you do that, I mean, you could have these characters and start like making appearances on each other's series later on, kind of like what DC's done with their CW stuff, only better.
Just crossing paths and getting into skirmishes together.
Yeah.
And I would even love to see again. And I think it's a little controversial to say that I liked The Last Jedi.
Yes, it is.
But get into some of those elements of like random people being able to use the Force. Just people on Tatooine, and it's just a little boy and he's just force mopping, just let it be, because that's the stuff that I want to see. I want to see low-key people who can do this stuff and not just three people in one family. You know what I mean? But that's what I like. That's what I'm interested in.
And see, I'm honestly more on the side of keep the Force out of it as much as possible. Like with Rogue One, what they did, there was like no aspect of the Force in there except for the one guy, and he never even had the Force. He was the blind guy in there.
Yeah.
He never actually used it. And I'm more on that board with that, just having characters that don't use the Force. They're in the Star Wars universe, but either they don't know about it or it's just not relevant to their lives.
I like that too. I like that too.
So,
but again, the Force and Star Wars are just synonymous. Like they have to go together. You have to. And it's
yeah.
But
so what's that?
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, what did you think of the episode? Like, what are your initial thoughts on?
It was pretty basic. I wouldn't say boring. It did have a real Mandalorian feel, so I felt like we've seen this already, kind of stuff. Outside of Boba Fett himself, it felt like an extension of the Mandalorian universe. Mm-hmm. What I did like, I guess for me, it'd just be like the nostalgia of it all. I like the time period that it's set in. So that would be episode 5. When at Star Wars, the movie, episode 5, like this is the time frame that this show takes place in, right?
Oh, his flashbacks are set in episode 6. Return of the Jedi. Return of the Jedi is when he fell into the Sarlacc pit. So yeah.
So I love like thinking from a mindset place that we're there and we're after that. They had a few flashbacks to when he was a little boy and he was picking up his dad's helmet. They just got chopped off.
Yeah.
From the early stuff. But
yeah,
the time period that this is set in, I really, really like.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I wouldn't say it was boring, but it was basic, and there wasn't a whole lot of. I was a little disappointed, I guess, that some of the flashback stuff they showed I felt was unnecessary, and they just did it for nostalgia. Like, like him laying in the tub and him flashing back to, him picking up Django's helmet. It's like we don't need to see that. Like that's just I know why you're doing it, but I really don't want to see that. I don't care.
What'd you think about his time with the Sand People?
Again, I felt like it was unnecessary, and I understand they're doing it just to kind of get a base so that way we know where Boba Fett's been all these years. But I really don't care. I don't care where he's been. I don't want to see a backstory to Boba Fett. It was almost like even in the movies and stuff, I don't care that Boba Fett was a clone. Nobody really wanted to see where he came from. It was the mysteriousness of his life. That's all you need to know, is that he was a bounty hunter. And I don't care that he spent time with the Sand People. If they wanted to show him like crawling out of the Sarlacc pit, that's fine. And then that was the only flashback we needed to see. We already know how he got his already know his armor got stolen, because we found that out in the Mandalorian, because he went and got it back, and he explained that whole thing to the Mandalorian. Like, Sand People stole my armor. I lived with them. I had to, so we didn't need to see flashbacks of that. I felt it was unnecessary.
See, this is interesting that you say this, because it's like the stuff that you like about Boba Fett is the fact that we only had 20 minutes of him in the movies and we know nothing about him. So I wonder whether you'll be disappointed or not disappointed just because we know more about him. Like, they're creating a backstory for him. They're creating a world for him.
Right.
Is that something that you want, or do you want it to stay in your headspace where you can make up whatever you want, because that's way cooler than maybe what they're going to give us?
Yeah. I mean,
I fall on the other side of that. I fall on that. I only saw 20 minutes of this guy. I want to know more of but I don't have any preconceived cool guy stuff for him, because he was a nobody character to me in the movies. He was nobody. He was irrelevant. Fan culture made him something more than he ever was in the movies.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how many people will be disappointed by what they get, because it's not what they wanted. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Hey, not to get off topic, you are kind of breaking up a little bit. Is that?
Oh, I hope it ain't too bad.
I just want to make sure that it's recording okay, and it's not going to be
Looks okay.
okay. All right.
We'll roll with it.
All right. Yeah. Like I'm fine with them doing the series, and I'm excited about the series, but I'd rather them just stick to what he's doing now and him just being this crime lord instead of us seeing flashbacks and him becoming almost like giving him like emotions and stuff. Like that's what I don't like.
That's what I'm worried about, because they're obviously taking him in a direction of, he said Jabba rule with fear, I want to rule with respect. But then as soon as people cross him, he just he goes Rick Grimes and just starts killing people,
Yeah.
But he doesn't want to be that guy anymore. It's at least that's what it seems like they're setting up. Like he wants to be nice, but he wants to rule. And I wonder if that's going to come into conflict, because if you're going to rule the way Jabba did, that's only going to come about if you're willing to just hurt people. You know what I mean? And that so far it doesn't seem like he is. He wants to turn a new leaf and be this new man. But you also want the title crime lord. Like, how can you can't be a saint, crime lord.
Yeah. I thought like seeing some of the characters that were on Jabba's or in Jabba's palace before, like from Jedi and stuff, they had like the blue elephant puppet thing. I'm just like, why are we putting that in here? Let's just
come on. Well, I mean, in their defense, I guess those creatures live on Tatooine, so it would make sense that there's probably more than just one.
Well, and that's what I was thinking. It would have to be, because the ship blew up with all those people on it.
Yeah. But they must just be like designed to play music, because the blue thing with and then whatever that other creature is that either plays the flute or was playing that guitar, those were the same things from the original kind of cantina scenes and different stuff like that.
Yeah. I like that they brought the Gamorrean guards in. I've always thought those were like cool characters and stuff. And just the fact that they're like, they're kind of fleshing them out a little more, making them more bad, like not bad, like in bad, but like more like, okay, these guys were actually dangerous. Like, cause they didn't really have that in the movie. They didn't really,
They were just big.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's kind of cool. I like that.
That fight sequence where they're surrounded by those guys with the
shields.
Yeah. That fight scene took way too long to set up, because I was like, where are the guards at? Like those guys that were with them the entire time.
Yeah.
It's taking them way too long to get here.
Yeah.
So there's really not much else there. I mean, it was really basic, honestly.
Yeah. Short episodes, only like 35 minutes or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah. So, but I mean, we'll see where it goes. As far as the first episode is, like you said, basic episode. I wouldn't say based off this episode, I'm not super excited to see, like, I don't know if it's going to be good. I can't say like off this first episode that, like, when I watched the first episode of Hawkeye, I was like, this is going to be a great series.
Yeah.
This one, I'm not sure. Well, it might take a couple to get into. But I trust Jon Favreau. I trust his direction and what he's probably got set up, and it's going to be really good. So,
ditto all that you just said. Yep. I'm excited to see where it goes. I am.
Yeah.
But
so, yeah.
Anything else?
No, I think that's it. That's all I got, really.
All right, everybody. Well, with that being said, we will be releasing a video every week on the Book of Boba Fett as we watch it, and we'll give our thoughts and see how this whole thing transpires. Well, I'll also be dropping the audio for this on Spotify. So if you don't go to YouTube, you can find the audio on anywhere you can find podcasts. So and then also this will be intertwined with our other bi-weekly Pass the Popcorn podcast that we do when we just review movies. So
leave us some comments on YouTube. Let us know. Maybe we can get into discussion with you. Like, what are your thoughts on
what did you think of the Book of Boba Fett, for real?
Yeah. So
all righty, guys.
All right, later.
I bet.